Let's call the meeting to order at 6:34. We have some guests. Manny, do you have anything you want to say, or are you just hanging out? Yeah, please do.
Hello, my name is Manny. I am the cultural arts lead for Ant Farm Youth Services, a youth nonprofit serving Sandy and Estacada and Malala. Just events coming up this Friday. We are having a painting class taught by local artist Dave Daniels, and it's going to be on painting tips and techniques. And that's going to be held in the Ant Farm Cafe and Bakery in Sandy. Tomorrow is the last class of the guitar class series that we are putting on for this one. And we intend to renew and reinstate the guitar classes, maybe after a week or two break. And it's going to look different and more aligned with the community schedule, because Thursdays is Estacada Creates. So we want to spread it out throughout the week. So
have some good people, show up for it.
For the guitar class?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had as many as like 15 people show
Wow,
up.
that's
So
awesome.
Yeah, it was a full room when we came by.
Oh, awesome.
so yep, that's all.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. What time was the painting class, did you say? 4 to 6. So, Dave, do you want to? We can introduce ourselves to you first while you're up there. Everybody, Dave is our applicant.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm Dave Solheim. My wife Barbara Leman and I are both retired English professors, college English professors. And we have children and grandchildren in Portland, which is why we moved here last July. And we've been very impressed with Estacada, especially the murals downtown, which got me thinking. We got to see one dedicated last summer with the mariachi band, the last one I think that went up. And I haven't inspected all of them, but it looks like a really great project. And I thought, well, if you're doing that kind of stuff around here, I'm looking for some way to contribute to the community that I've trying to become a part of. I'm a writer, primarily a poet. I was at the reading, was that this month? Yeah, the Thursday evening meeting, reading. I'm glad to see that literature is included in the arts activities here. And got an invitation to come and chat with you. So I will be here and watch what you do. And thanks for inviting me.
Thanks,
Dave, for record keeping, can you spell your last name, please?
SOLH.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's on. Great, thank you. Yeah, let's do introductions. So since Dave introduced himself to us, and just our names and how long we've been on the commission and what we like about it. You want to start?
I'm fresh. I'm sorry. My name's not fresh.
From now on, it sure is.
Mine's Vince. That's not my real name. Changed it. No. No, I've been on the art commission. I'm new anyway. So this is my first year, second meeting. So glad I made it in time anyway. But yeah, mixed media artist, and I do all sorts of mostly canvas or sneakers and streetwear and stuff. Mostly wearable artwork, but yeah. And let me know if you have any questions, but all sorts of different stuff.
Awesome. I'm Chelsea Biondolo. I have been on the commission since I think 2020. This is my last meeting as a commissioner, although I will be back as a community member. I'm a writer. And so I'm really glad to know that another writer is interested in joining up. Yeah, I'm a writer and an artist, a collage artist, and a nonfiction writer.
Hi, I'm Deborah Vandetta. I've been on the commission for about a year, maybe. I will be a solo lonely co-chair soon. Don't make me be a solo chair.
Don't want her to be a solo
Um,
chair. We don't want her to be a solo
No,
chair.
definitely not. I work at the library. I do the youth programs there. Yeah, and I do lots of crafts whenever my hands decide to function properly.
I'm Tina. I've been on the commission for about a year. I started January of 2021. I'm also a writer or aspiring writer. And I sometimes try to play instruments, but I'm not great at any of them. And that's about it. Thanks.
I'm Mike. We bought our farm just southeast of town 7 years ago, and I got two boys that are 8 and 13. I filled a vacancy in November of last year, sometime around then. You probably know Joe. November-ish. So I'm also relatively new. I'm a trombone player. I grew up playing the piano. I play guitar and stuff. I have a ridiculous record collection also, which is awesome and not awesome. That's about it.
It's all awesome. Like, every time we do this, should we come up with like 3 new fun facts?
Yes, absolutely.
My name is Jessie Kurt. I'm a kindergarten teacher in Milwaukee. And I'm involved a lot with arts education and community events, sitting on a huge art night in my school tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. In my private life, I do a lot of photography and like mixed media art. But I'm jazzed about kids and education and arts education. And like you, like 4 or 5 years in Estacada, excited to find like an in to the community and get to know more people and contribute.
I'm Maddie. This is my second meeting, so
Oh, my second meeting. Sorry, I forgot that.
I'm a graphic designer by trade, painter by passion. So
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Did everyone get a chance to look at February's minutes before the meeting? Shall we take a moment to look at February's minutes? Basically, for everybody this is only their second meeting, you're looking over to just make sure they look all right. If they look all right, if there's nothing glaring that needs to be fixed, then anybody who was at the last meeting can make a motion to approve them.
I motion to approve them.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Awesome. Minutes approved. Review of financial statements. We have one. Is there anything we should know about this?
We have 3 new items. Artist payments for the last Estacada Creates for Justin Hawking and Jay Ponteri, and reimbursing you for snacks for that event. And those are the only new expenses.
Awesome.
And no new
No new income.
income. We're gonna have to get going on that soon.
It's weird that Justin's on here twice when that one was supposed to be voided. I just now noticed. On 7/18/2022, Justin's check is still on there, but I thought we voided it.
That's one page for November.
Yeah, 1 page November, because he couldn't come. I can send you an email later. That was a total,
Good catch.
yeah. All right, everything else looks fine. Because I'm looking at it on here, we still don't, Kalaya's, that drawing is still not up in here. Joe Cotter's drawing that we got from Kalaya,
Has it been picked up?
it's here,
Okay.
or it was here, and yeah, and Carl had said he needed to clean it or something. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, I think right there would be great since it's long and thin.
And that wall's empty.
And right,
It's one of two empty walls. That one's bigger.
right. That to me would be a very good place for it, but unless anyone's opposed, awesome. It took like 2 years to actually get that drawing, so it'll be really great to see it on the wall. Any mail or correspondence?
Physical mail? Email? Yes.
Yeah, I know, I totally
Um,
forgot to check physical mail.
We actually had a really interesting one from Hannah Smith, who is on the Downtown Estacada Commission, about communications and social media and trying to get more collaboration between the different committees to publicize events. So
I
that
wondered
is
about
something.
Like where and how. I've seen you post some things
Mhm.
on Facebook, right,
Yeah.
Dina?
I haven't posted anything.
I
think
know that
this-
was kind of Nicole did that a lot.
I'll share stuff that Heidi used to have posted.
Maybe we
I
should talk
kind of was
about that.
supposed to take over the digital thing, but if somebody else wants to do it, they can help too, because not been very on the ball with it.
Yeah, the way it works, I mean, we can't post anything. So everything, we put posts together and send them to the city and the city posts them.
Gotcha.
You can
So-
like post about.
Right,
stuff.
you can post
Right.
about events on your own page.
Not using.
You
the,
just
like,
can't-
Estacada area
Right,
art.
we can't log in as Estacada area.
Okay.
On,
Email sort of piggybacking the summit to some extent, or is it, because also the city just sent out a list of people that were there so that we all have, I believe we all have each other's contact info and stuff like that, so.
Yes, this did come out of the summit. Why don't I just read it quickly? Hannah from the DEC, it was great to chat with everyone at the committee summit. One of our main priorities in the DEC is to promote downtown Estacada. In that, we are trying to ramp up our social media presence. I would love to promote and share new ideas and events that our city, through our amazing committees, is brewing on our Instagram and Facebook so we can try and reach more people. I know it can be tedious to do, but I think it is necessary. I think the easiest way to do this is to send out a monthly email and get updates of the upcoming events, celebrations, etc. for the next month. If you do not have time to come up with a graphic or photo to post, I am willing to design them myself. I am a photographer and graphic designer, so I have tons of photos that I have taken of Estacada that can be used. How does this sound? I am open for suggestions. She lists the Instagram and Facebook accounts for DEC. In case you haven't followed or liked them yet, and asks, please email me back with pages for your committees if you have them, so I can personally like and follow them as well. And she also says, if you don't want to be part of the monthly event update email, that's all right as well. And
But
She'll
just to
take you up the
clarify,
list.
all of that, like their IG page is all sort of created by us, but then forwarded to the city to.
well, so just to specify, so everything on the EAAC page is created by us and forwarded to the city.
Correct.
The DEC is different. They have their own page and Instagram grandfathered in from
Oh.
olden days.
Ah.
So they,
Old version.
They found a loophole.
yeah.
Didn't we used to be able to post on ours
We
until
did.
there was a
That's
little?
that's we can have that conversation later. We can over beers, but we don't need to
That's
have it
okay.
here.
I know what it was, so.
Yeah. We definitely do not need to have it here. But yes, we now, and there's a couple of reasons, and one of them is that everything has to be on like a permanent record. And so by going through the city, they can keep a record of everything. And so
mean, it's tedious, but it kind of makes.
So could we also use her direct
Together.
access as a vehicle to, is that what she's asking? Is
Yes.
If we want to have her do AC events.
Yes.
She puts it on her page. And
Yes.
okay, good. Now I'm picking
So,
up what you're putting down.
and we will, it is on the agenda for Saturday. And so it would really be a case of whatever we're sending to Elena to go on the EAAC page, we could also send.
Okay.
And, you know, that would help more eyeballs see it. Especially since they use Instagram and we do not. The city does not.
I know Hannah from our kids playing soccer together and so I'd be willing to follow up and communicate with her about that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, what we'll do is we have on the list for Saturday a communication plan.
Mhm.
So we will put together.
Just picturing that.
Good, thanks. Also on the list, though, it would have come up later tonight. Okay, review or updates on recent events. On February 9th, we had Estacada Creates Lit with Justin and Jay at Ant Farm, and it was awesome. Dave read, Manny read some poems by a favorite poet of his, and yeah, it was cool. Anyone who was there have anything to add? Basically it. The next. No, it's on there. All right, I'll bring it up later. The committee's summit. I arrived late, but luckily Mike arrived later. So was not their latest arts commissioner at Saturday's event. Actually, it was super cool to talk with all of the committees at once and talk about what people were working on. It was a very nice opportunity to you know, right in that moment, find out like what is and isn't happening and who is interested in what. And there was a great mood of collaboration. So we also have that on Saturday's agenda to talk about and make sure we have folks assigned kind of to make those collaborations happen throughout the
That
year.
happens once a month or is it?
No, it's never happened before and hopefully
Oh.
it'll happen again. It will probably not be once a month.
Oh, it's a summit. It's not the same thing as the What's Up Estacada.
No, right, it was all the commissions sent one or two or, yeah, two, up to two people. And then, you know, we just went around and like introduced ourselves and what our commissions are working on. That took up most of the meeting after a very good presentation, which I believe we're also gonna get. Yes?
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Oh. Do we know if Elena's doing the presentation? She had said she was gonna do that at this meeting, but then I didn't hear. All right, well, maybe we are not getting a presentation tonight, but we will follow up with that. It was actually really great because it's like, especially since everybody here is new, it's like all the rules. It was a very nice PowerPoint with all of the rules, how to communicate over email, how to communicate over phone, like records to keep and all that. Yeah, she had said to me, I said something like, it would be really great if you could choose, like, I'm coming to everybody's March or meetings, so. She's not in the room, is she? Okay. Well, so that'll be cool. Mike, anything to add about Saturday? On the permanent record?
We made it clear that it's not required to have knuckle tattoos to be on the commission,
But it sure helps.
You're like, oh, this is funny. We were easily identifiable. No, I thought it was great. It went really fast. The conversation was great. It was good to hear there's like larger community, I think, concerns that everybody has, like traffic control, junctures and how it mitigating accidents and that kind of stuff. So it was good to have the employees of the city also clarify sort of the process that you need to go through with these different things, the different concerns and how they're addressed and how we approach the process and stuff like that. So I think we all learn more about each other's roles and then, and just knowing faces and names and putting it all together. I realized that Paul is my insurance agent too. I was like, oh, I got you. You're the Paul Strobel I've been hearing about. Okay. We've done all our business on phone, so I never knew.
That's so great.
Anyways, yeah. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I hope it becomes a regular thing. I mean, it was good. What's Up Estacada was also a delight. The room was super bustling. We were incredibly cramped up in a tiny little space, and we actually had a whole bunch of materials this time. But yeah, there were a lot of folks. We were handing out a schedule of events so people could see all of the Estacada Creates things, and that there will be a Lit Fest in July, and that a couple of coloring contests are on the books. And yeah, I thought that it went very well. It was definitely more full than the last one that I went to, where I just came as a visitor. I don't know how the morning one went, the one that they had super early in the morning, but well, this one was pretty packed. Maddie, anything to add?
Yeah, I agree.
So no.
Yeah.
We did get a couple of business cards, and one of them, excitingly, was from a woman at Oregon Health Authority who would like to sponsor an event. OHA would like to give us money for an event, and in exchange set up a table where they hand out like health information. And really, the only thing that makes sense is the Art and Music Fest, but that makes a lot of sense. And so we got her contact info to follow up. And yeah, I think that's what's up. That's what's up. We have a bunch of materials now, so I think that we should definitely do that each time that we can. If it's at 7:30 in the morning, again, certainly won't hold it against us for not making it, but yeah. Upcoming events. Tina.
So I was communicating with the artist that Heidi had been communicating with, but she backed out at last minute. Maddie has graciously agreed to host the class. So she's going to be putting something together for us. I talked to Manny after work this evening, and Ant Farm is going to let us use their location for the event next Thursday. So we've got that all set up. They just asked, and I know you did a little flyer mock-up, but they're just asking that we use their logo and put it on the flyer.
We have it.
Yeah, Deborah has it. So I don't know, in conjunction with Ant Farm or something like that.
Right.
On the
Yeah.
flyer so that we identify that we're working
All
with
the
them.
Estacada Creates ones, all of them have both of our logos. Because Ant Farm is partnering with us on all of them. Perfect. Do you
I
want
can
people to
make sure-
RSVP? Are you going to be giving away materials? Do you need?
Yeah, I need to talk to Maddie a little bit more about that. At first I was trying to determine whether we were gonna have it at Ant Farm or the Art Smith, but we're gonna have, she preferred Ant Farm, didn't you? Or am I mixing it up?
I was waiting with Deborah, what you said about like the bigger space and everything.
Yeah, the space is bigger, they can fit more people, and
Yeah.
they wanna
Mhm.
work in
it's
conjunction
great.
with these events anyway, so yay. Besides, I talked to Manny before, so.
Yes, great, great.
I do have a couple of questions. Am I allowed to ask questions about it? Or do I need to wait? Okay, good. So the city, how we can send in like a post that they will repost for us. We also have access to put like a pop-up banner on the city website. Or am I allowed to just work on that, or do I have to go through like different parameters to do that?
You can send it to me
Okay,
and I can get that up there.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then is there a budget / how are we gathering the materials for the actual event?
Great question.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, did we set a budget for this one?
what we have been budgeting for these in the past was about $100 for the talent and around 25 to 30 for snacks. And so I think that, but I think that art ones where we are providing supplies, I think that we should be ready to spend a little bit more so that we can give away supplies to at least a certain number of people. I think
So you
that,
probably need to cap like the amount of people and have. people sign up,
yeah,
so you
and
don't
that's
have
why I think, yeah,
material.
an RSVP, and whether that's, I don't know whether that's through the Facebook post or,
She was talking about QR codes and
Yeah.
that's where she lost me.
So I'm thinking that we could do it multiple ways, but have it all go to the same place. So whether it's like the Google sign up where you can have like a, like fill out your name, your phone number or email, and it goes into the Google Sheet, but like the QR code, the clickable button on the pop-up banner and everything that you can click on the Facebook page will all go back to this one location collected information.
This is
That's
great.
my
You
thought
probably
process.
just need to like figure out how many people you would want to do.
Yeah, so like my question like for Ant Farm is how big is the space and like what's our max? like, For the fire hazard or whatever.
Stuff like that.
Oh, please help.
So we can very comfortably do up to 30 people in the
So if
building.
it's a painting thing, so like are there tables?
There are tables there. I think there's one like dining room table, office table, round table thing, and then there's 4 large picnic style tables that are there that can seat like 6 people each.
But if you're painting, probably more like
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
more like 4. So
maybe 20 people with art supplies.
And those tables are relatively new, right? If I recall, they look pretty new, so maybe we want to bring some kind of cover to cover the tables.
yeah, that would work. No one's told me to not mess up the tables yet.
But,
but yeah, maybe some disposable tablecloths, plastic tablecloths. Those picnic tables, though, if we're talking about like a palette and paints and a thing, I think 4 people per table, so 16 would be a
Plus
really,
the dining room table thing.
plus potentially
that might
dining
be
room
for
table, but I think
supplies.
that's like supplies, that's where the instructor's hanging out, maybe some snacks. And also 16 maybe aspirational.
No.
Is-
We're gonna advertise this. Like Thursday.
Like, if I'm gonna do it, people will show up.
And- Well, and the thing is too, you know, what you could say is that the first 16 people, will have supplies for the first 16 people, and we can, you know, if you're waitlisted, you are welcome to come with your own supplies or something like that. You can wait and
Okay.
see if a bunch of people sign up, and then that way, because we know there is extra space, extra people could come. But yes, I mean, I realize we're gonna advertise the heck out of it, but it's also,
I mean, I'm
8
aiming
days
for
away.
5, that's my optimistic number.
For 5.
yeah, 5 is great.
And then be surprised.
I'll be once, if you're 4 more.
I would totally come except I'm out of town.
What about like, we said an age limit, like if people are bringing children, that would make me approach this differently than if like they're teenagers or adults.
That's up to you.
I was
Oh.
thinking we might want to keep it family friendly, but you mentioned something about like 12 and up or something.
Yeah. I don't know, it just depends, like if we're having toddlers use paint with a 65-year-old, it might be a little different.
Well,
You don't want
it's
that.
also
It might be more of an expressive experience.
evening time,
Yeah, it's
I
7 to
think
9.
It's
So
7 to 9
Yeah,
on a Thursday.
10 or 12
Okay.
as a
That's okay.
minimum age is totally fine.
What about, like, is there any limitations I have to be aware of since I haven't heard a Lunar spiel of like where we can advertise this outside of sending it through you? Like if we print out flyers, we gotta put them on.
yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And do we have access to like emailing the schools? Like, this is a cool free workshop that kids are welcome.
We do. I don't know if they would be able to push it out in time, though. It just depends on their schedule.
Were you the one who said there was a new school?
Yes, there is a
liaison?
new community engagement liaison at the school.
And do you have that person's name?
I do. Her name is Danny Randall, and I have her email in
Oh,
my
is
phone
she-
somewhere.
She related, so the schools have their own Facebook pages too. I'm wondering if you sort of took went through the right steps, that you could get something like that on
Might be
the
able to,
school
yeah.
page.
It depends on if you get the right person, because I tried, like, at the beginning of the school year, I emailed every principal for
Right.
every school, even the Summit Learning, and nobody responded to me. Nobody, they didn't even acknowledge it, so.
I took flyers to the school at the beginning of one page when we were having a family reading, and people seemed really excited, and nobody ever responded, and nobody from the schools ever showed up.
About the county, to do that, so we like, that might, they might as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm happy to make it my
It's a big
personal
county.
mission to infiltrate the school system. I'm one of them.
I have.
This
just
is my
recently-
jam. I'm like, I will be there. I'll make it happen.
I just recently found out that Chris works for the school now, so the high school. So we can go bug Chris, who is now Dean of Students at Estacada High School. I got an email from him one day. I said, I just emailed you an ant farm, it bounced, and now you're emailing me from the high school. And he's like, yeah, I've been here since December.
That's
Like,
actually-
It's
that's a
hard to
great-
know
that's
also
a
like
great-
Yeah.
that's a great-
schools, it's hard to know how to tell people, because it might also be something that, like, if you get it to teachers, teachers will tell their kids.
That's what I
And
really,
if it doesn't get to the teacher,
Right.
speaking as a teacher.
Right.
Some of that stuff just doesn't get to us, and then you don't know to tell your kids.
and that's what I
So-
wanted. I wanted to, I was like, can I get this to the English teachers? Because this is, we want kids to
Well,
come and read
that's-
their writing.
I can
and-
try to email Miss Packer too, because I think she's the art teacher. I'll check in with one of my kids. Oh, you know?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
really
was gonna
want to
say,
talk to them because of the- maybe doing the $5 art show and getting involved with the arts, other things. Anyway. I'm serious about it being my mission to make more of an opening with the school.
Awesome. Fully support that mission.
Maddie, are you available Thursday or Friday to come to the library and look at supplies?
Yeah.
Okay,
oh, you have supplies already at the library?
I have a treasure trove. So.
Remember all that chalk?
I
That's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I said we got rid of it all.
I have one little box
Awesome.
in my stash.
And then are you gonna set up the Google Sheet? You want me to do that?
I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's this is my task tomorrow afternoon. So.
Cool. I feel a little bit better about it.
Any other questions or anything on March 9?
No, but I do want to say thank you, Maddie, for coming to our
Thank
rescue.
you so much.
Thank you.
Maddie.
It'd just be us sitting in the-
I
But at
mean,
least we
sometimes
got
it's
it
just us
totally
sitting in the
cool with
room
that.
reading our poem. If we build it, they could come. If they don't.
I do have the flyer prep, just need the ant farm logo, and then also have the social post prep that I can update, and then I'll just send them all to you if that works.
Yeah.
Okay, great, cool.
And then once you get it ready, maybe send it to Ant Farm because they might want to
Yep.
post it.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a,
Loophole.
is that a way of sort of subverting the city? Is
Well, because again, we're sending the same thing.
You're increasing your
city-
communication.
Yes, we are, because we're not, it's not different
shady.
communication. It's the same being sent more places. So it's not a subversion.
Because it's still also going through. the
Perfect.
stuff.
We don't need to subvert anything. We have
I
plenty
mean,
of
some of
proper
us are just
channels.
naturally subversive.
Some of us cannot help it. I understand.
The ones using words like
Is-
infiltrate and personal mission.
I know what teachers are nowadays. You gotta be warriors. You gotta be warriors.
So the next Estacada Creates coming up is April 13th, and that is family night at the library. So for those of you unfamiliar with last year, this is basically a one-page event. So I'm gonna have a featured reader, hopefully readers, and then open the floor to up to 10 open mic readers who can be of any age. And the, so far, the first confirmed author that I have is Sonia Thomas. Were you at Sonia's? That was like the very first one in March, and nobody came. She read from Sir Fig Newton and the persistence, the physics
It's
of
the one I took you
persistence.
to Costco to get snacks for. I think
Probably.
I was at that one.
Yeah, it was just like us and I think Jerry, and that was it. And I felt terrible because she came all the way from Vancouver.
Was
For
it at the
nobody.
library?
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, I do remember that one, yeah.
So she was super awesome. And her book, she was an Oregon Book Award winner or Oregon Fellowship, or Literary Arts Fellowship in children or middle grade literature. Can't remember the actual name of that fellowship, but and her book is called Sir Fig Newton and the Physics of Persistence. She read from it. It was awesome. And so I was like, please come back out. I think we can do better. I think we can get more people to come and read. And I actually invited the writer who was originally supposed to read with her, who couldn't come because of COVID. And I have not heard back from her yet. I have followed up and I've still heard nothing. So I'm gonna try a couple more writers that said no last year. But, you know, like, oh, I wish I could, but, and then I follow up and go, so you really wish you could? Now's your chance.
Sonia's last name?
Thomas. And it's Sonia with a J. I think it's Sonia with S-O-N-J-A
Is there another way to spell
with
it?
a Y.
Or it could be SO or SA.
I only know Sonja's.
I
Okay.
want to give you lots of options.
I mean, I'm pretty sure now I'm like, I want to make sure. Yeah, with a J. So the second reader's TBD. Hopefully I find one, but if not, Sonia's a delight, so. And I will still be emceeing that. But somebody will need to be the commission liaison, helping get that person paid and snacks. So we'll talk about that on Saturday too.
What time are those typically? 7?
7 to 9
7 to 9.
on
yeah.
Thursday.
Was what I come. It's hard.
There is no time.
No.
That is not hard. So,
I think we should all just like not have to have jobs anymore. Then we can do stuff like this all the time.
wouldn't that be great?
It would be
Yeah.
great because, you know, by the time I'm done working, I don't want to do anything.
Parks and Recs Art in the Park.
Yes. I don't think
Oh,
the
sorry.
date's in there.
Yeah, it is May 6th.
May 6th, yes. Gina Sherman invited us to join in with that. We had a table last year and did messy mural painting and made buttons. Do you remember what else?
The
No, I
collage.
was at a,
Collages, yeah. So
I was out of
lots
town.
of fun kid crafts.
They did say at the summit, they were hoping to get more teenage, older kids. Teenagers being so willing to join in.
they-
Things that.
Well,
it-
they
it's
reach
also-
out to them. Is it the arts, is it the parks?
That was
Commission?
Parks and Rec.
definitely one of the things that was
Parks and Rec
discussed
or the
at the
city
summit.
parks commission?
Parks
the
and Rec
Parks and
is
Rec.
the commission.
Parks and Rec is the commission.
Yep.
I'm
Is that
I'm
wrong?
sure
Wrong.
Gina
Wrong.
something else there. If they want teenagers, 11 to 1 is not the best time slot because mine doesn't get out of bed till 2 or 3.
We're just getting breakfast. at that time.
No, mine's not even out of bed at that
Okay.
time. Sometimes I think she goes to bed after we wake up.
It was such a cool event, but they really only had a really small handful.
Right.
Like
Well,
half of the fun, I think, was the table that you guys
Yes.
had that had the activity part.
yeah, the buttons were a huge success. We should definitely have the button situation going again.
Do you have a button maker?
Sure do. And then the collage was just, you know, I mean, people just brought whatever junk they had and we had pieces of paper and glue. So very low tech and low output for these kids seemed to enjoy it. But, well, and actually a couple of older kids really like actually super got into working on their collages. Because it's in May, it's not too far away from World Collage Day. And the Estacada Creates will be on collage, so maybe you don't want collage at the actual thing.
Wade Creek.
Yes.
Wade Creek Park.
Yeah, so that's May sixth. It's on Saturday, and the following Thursday will be the Estacada Creates, which will be a collage making class. So maybe not collage, but definitely buttons and yeah, something they, the flowers, making those flowers at Muertos was super fun. Some kind of easy craft that people can take away with themselves. So we'll be asking for volunteers on Saturday, to who wants to participate.
That'll be the one I'll be most excited about doing. I'm all over that.
Okay, awesome.
I'm about to do that for like 500 kids in an elementary school.
This will be much lower stress.
Yeah.
Okay, we do not have Elena to do the training. So we'll skip that. Follow up later. On Saturday, if you hadn't heard, we're having a planning meeting. So that'll be 10 to 2 here. We are gonna we're gonna figure some food out, so there will be some kind of snack type things, not a full breakfast because it's 10, so but some kind of snack things and coffee or juice or something like that, and then lunch. We'll get lunch somehow. You have to figure that out.
I do, but I can't get to Costco between now and then.
I can go. I need to go buy a pound bag of rice.
So I printed out the logos before I came, and my printer, despite saying it has ink, doesn't. So that sucks. What we have to do is pick one.
We can only pick one.
We can only pick one. And so, and I mean, I don't know why we can't have both of these, because the colors are the same and the only difference is black letters versus the white letters, and we have both of these. So I'll follow up and ask, but
Who says you can only pick one?
the artist.
Well, we should pester that artist. They might be pesterable. Is that a word? I
It
made
is,
a word.
it's fine enough. There, I just don't want to deal with that, but,
Well, the
Would you like
graphic-
one of
the
us to
graphic-
pester the artist?
Or the graphic designer we have over on staff. to
Well,
change the
right,
text
so
color.
That's the thing, is
That's-
that, so here's the
Yeah,
thing, is
yeah.
we pick one, and then we are gonna get the AI files. I cleared all that. We're gonna get all the files, and so then I feel like we can probably do whatever we need to do. And so my recommendation is going to be, I'm gonna pass around the one that I think we should go with, and all you have to do is that this
Is this just faded on this one?
it's all super faded,
Okay.
everything gray.
Okay.
And so I think that
So no, this is to be a white lettering.
white lettering,
Okay.
black Estacada, and then just the colors. So he did recommend that we not pick the watercolory one,
It's a washy.
because of, it'll look great online. It will look less great printed out, on t-shirts, paper,
Yeah.
whatever. But also because we know a graphic designer, if we decide that we want one that's all bled, we can figure that out later. I think that the one with solid colors is just gonna be super multi-use. Do you want to
I
put
like it.
X next to it if
I'll
that's
go
going?
X, Yeah,
And that way
yeah, it looks good though.
we can just
I
do
know what
a
you're saying,
quick
like-
vote. And
Like online, that washed, that color, or that watercolor one would look good, but physically, like, it might look kind of.
Right.
All washed up.
I actually liked coloring one for the event.
Or
We are getting the black and
Yes.
white one.
could you
yes,
make us a
this one, right?
stencil
I think
to,
we're
like,
getting
spray
both.
paint?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So we're getting a black and white one and we have to pick one color. one. Is
Especially
that
with
what
the
I- Okay,
solid colors like
excellent.
that, be easy to.
no,
color.
I totally agree with this choice.
Good. Yeah, it strikes that pretty easy.
Yep. And so that way I can get that finished up and get our bill and get the files and hopefully be done before the end of March. Yeah, just put
Yeah.
an X. So we already have the black and white
Don't
ones in
feel
the bottom.
pressured to pick the one everybody else is picking.
Yeah, don't feel that pressure, but.
But
uh,
also we need it done by the end of March
At
so
this,
that she can
at
be
this
good.
point, you can vote or whatever, but we're probably going with the number 2.
I need it bigger. You need it bigger.
We're already getting the black and white ones in the bottom right.
Right.
And so it's just picking one color one. lower.
And
Um,
honestly, it's super easy to take the white one and lay it over any color
Right.
or
Just
background
also-
that you want.
Like if the logo just so happens to include like the rainbow, it's never a bad thing. You know what I mean?
I may have had that conversation with the artist. In
That's
fact,
fine. That's fine.
that I may have in fact
Why
had that,
wouldn't we
that
use it?
specific conversation with the artist.
We should,
Sure, I guess.
Yeah. I'll share it.
Just
because we're the arts
just
commission
representation.
and rainbows are color.
Rainbows. Rainbow. It just makes the right people mad. You know what I mean?
There's a power to it. There's a certain power to it.
And the ring.
And then you can be like, Jim's created the rainbow. You know what I mean? Do that whole thing. We can play that game. Great. I love it.
Yeah. It's all comes back together then, yeah. You know,
We are still being recorded.
They're screwed.
I know, that's why I said I'll tell you what I was gonna tell you later.
Thanks, everyone.
The record.
So this one in the corner is the also,
Yeah,
We get that
definitions, this
Cool.
one, no,
Yeah, we
really?
get the black and white one already.
yeah,
This is just picking the one colors.
It's not the impression I got at the summit. Let's put it that way.
We are almost off the record,
Almost.
but still on the record. 1% for art update.
Yes, we need to select committee members. So what we have so far is one arts commission person as the chair. That's gonna be me. Yeah. 2 art professionals. We need 2 community members. And I mistold you on Monday. We need 1 person that represents the art site and 1 person who represents the project, architectural, construction, whatever, or that person can be another art professional. So the slots we have filled are the Arts Commission person as the chair. The library director, Michelle, will be filling the site role, representing the library. Chelsea has volunteered to be an art professional or community member, whichever one is needed.
Right, whichever one.
We will probably not have a site person, so we'll need 2 other art professionals or 3. And then 2 community members potentially, depending on which one you're in. So being on this committee does not prevent you from filling one of these roles in this committee. It's a separate commitment and it will be a very longer term, looser commitment until like September.
Right.
Basically until my carpal tunnel surgery is done, I'm gonna be like a turtle with this stuff. But things are starting to get in motion. They're looking at, I think, April 15th as the opening date for Wade Creek Phase 3. So we still have
I mean,
lots of.
There's one piece of
What?
art is basically, it's not, okay. We're just wondering over here, like, what would it entail?
So,
if you
yes,
were- one
so
was to
the
volunteer?
1% of this project is around $30,000. So we need to come up with a proposal to spend that $30,000 on art. And that's the job of the committee, is to propose, right? Not actually pick, or do they actually pick
It can be
both?
that whole
Right.
continuum. We
Right.
could buy a specific piece of art. We can select an
RFPs.
artist to create a piece of art, or we can do a general open request for proposal and just put it out there to a bunch of different artists to create something.
and
So
any
it's really
combination.
open.
Right, any combination of those things. So you could, the committee could decide, we're gonna earmark $12,000 for an RFP. We're going to use $8,000 for this known artist to do, let's like you know, at the library, like somebody's gonna do mosaics on the floor or something like that, right? Or they're gonna build a fountain for us. We already have found someone. The committee has like 3 or 4 different ways that art can be. But that's the job of the committee, is to decide how that money is gonna be broken up, what the process is gonna look like to find those people. And it can, like Deborah's saying, there can be a number of arts commissioners on there, but that committee is separate from the arts commission.
And hosted like at the library, or what's the?
Probably.
scheduling?
I have no
Oh,
idea
no
when
idea yet.
we will schedule
Oh,
that, yeah.
Also, is this aside from the Heron?
Yeah, the Heron,
So news on the Heron,
Okay.
the artist is currently showing it in Hood River
and it could.
and it might sell.
Oh, gotcha.
Uh,
Not to us.
Not to
Not to
us. It could sell to a private collector or someone else. And you know what? If that happens, so be it. There's lots of other great art pieces out there.
Was there a certain budget allocation for that piece that had already been solidified, or was that part of the 1%?
That's part of the 1%.
That would have been part of it.
That's what I'm.
Yeah,
that's what
but
I'm
we
trying-
didn't get to a contract.
Gotcha.
for
Right, 'cause
that.
we didn't have the committee. So
Yeah.
We can't do any of that without the committee. And so if that piece is still available, then the committee we have already begun talks with the artist that we wanted. It would be around $3,000, I think, so. Shouldn't be an issue, and that as long as nobody on the committee is virulently opposed to the Blue Heron, it's a lovely sculpture if we get it. But that, even if it does sell, you know, that artist might have other things, there are lots of other opportunities. And
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
In terms of frequency of those meetings, like how many meetings do you think? I have no idea really.
It really depends on what we envision and what kind of process we want to do. Yeah, there's a lot of variables in it. If you're interested in it, I can kind of send you an online packet of what the city has established as the process. And it's a wide range of potentials, and it's a big site. We could just select one piece of art, one big awesome thing, and say, okay, we're done. Or, you know, we can look long-term and do some fundraising and grant writing and look at multiple sites throughout Wade Creek Park and the building. So there's lots of options and opportunities.
I'd love, if you would email that to me, I'd love
Mhm.
to. Yeah.
Definitely.
I could be a community member. I don't qualify as a professional artist, but I could be still a community member. Does this happen every year? This is just because of the park.
Every time there's a municipally funded development project, 1% of the budget is earmarked for art. And that's not an Estacada thing. That's a much wider ranging thing than just us. And we also, in addition to Wade Creek is the big one, but there's also a park that never got taken care of. So we have a smaller one that's
Mhm.
also, we were going to do that first so that we could go through the process. But we didn't get a chance to, so we'll probably do that after. And then it will be like super easy because we will have gone from 30,000 to like 1,200. It'll be much easier to do, but yeah.
Are there? Does anybody have any connections with, I'm just gonna say Spiral for local artist representation? I mean, my thought would be to.
I think
use the
we're the
money
people that know Spiral.
I don't know anybody over there that knows, like, cause I'd like to see the money directed towards local artists, right? To
Oh,
keep the money
sure.
in the communities,
Right.
sort of
Oh, yeah.
thing, rather than, I mean, not to say we're not looking at other stuff.
Carl
but-
should be able to give you recommendations. I would
Right,
think.
Right.
is Carl still available for?
He still works at
Consultations?
Spiral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still,
Yeah,
I
and
was,
he's
I
still-
told Deborah, I thought Louise would be really awesome on the committee if we could conscript her.
Mhm.
I think she would be really, really great because she knows a lot of folks in town. She knows a lot of the artists in town.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could also have I mean, the RFP could be designed to say, we are looking for artists that represent our region. And so that could, all of that stuff is possible. Anything else on 1%?
I don't have anything. Yeah. But I'm happy to, I'll send this out to you guys. It might answer some of your questions
And so.
and bring up more questions, but yeah.
And so spoiler alert, on Saturday, we also have this as an agenda item, mainly to determine who on the commission may be interested in participating. So that we can figure out which slots we still need to fill. To, again, try to track folks down who might be interested. Fundraising ideas? Anyone have any?
Well, that's coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah. Let's save that for
Kick that can down the road. a couple of days.
Yeah.
I popped into Mossy Rock, just killing time with the kids while we were picking up pizzas, waiting for pizzas. And talked to the owner briefly about the jam session that they used to have in the back. She kind of gave me the update of like how that space was developed because of the investment money or whatever in 2020 from the city, I think. And how they have certain requirements that sort of eliminate them from hosting that event still. But she and I started the conversation about, well, how did you get it started? How did it work like this? And she had some suggestions. So I think maybe we'll try and do something that's a little bit more informal for like just getting a jam going or something, you know what I mean? And obviously weather permitting makes kind of a bigger impact when it's nice outside. Everybody can be sort of,
I
maybe it's at the
mean,
park or maybe.
I
it's
know
at
of an
something.
outside space.
Right, right.
And I,
you know.
there's a big garden that, we might be able to get
Oh,
ourselves into, and then a big.
The warehouse
In
too.
the building.
What's up with what's up with this room? Cafe? Yeah? 6 months out still? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's never a fast.
But that outside space is beautiful.
Cool.
And we had
Didn't- weren't Rick
the
and Barb
art and
at-
music crawl there over the
Mhm.
summer, so that Chris had artists, Rick and Barb playing outside and all his chairs, and I think he even had a fire going, if I remember correctly.
It was really nice. It
Yeah,
was very, I mean, there were a lot of people at it.
there are a lot of people out, and that picture he keeps posting of the sun setting over it, yeah, that's my picture, I took it and sent it to him. And then I'm like, hey, they keep using my picture on their stuff.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna move fundraising to Saturday. So any community updates that we haven't already heard?
I will share that there was a big old thread on Facebook last week about the summer celebration
Great.
and how everybody was gonna call the city and complain that the art commission is not doing it.
Well,
so-
then why
I love
isn't
it.
anybody volunteering and I'll do it?
Well, and that's what I told them. I said, you can head your own committee and set it up if that's what you want to do. And I said something, I said, it's my understanding that it wasn't actually the art commission that did it. It was people that were on the art commission that had their own committee. And then somebody came on and said, no, I used to be on the art commission. It was the art commission. And I'm
can
like,
almost guarantee
okay.
I know exactly who that
Just
person is because we had that exact same
Fire.
conversation over an hour-long phone call because they got my phone number off the website, which is why it's not on there anymore.
So people are still fresh
Yeah.
last week. People are still riled.
So,
I still think it's just
because-
people need to move on. And
Right,
we just
they do.
promote the new, I think if we put something out saying that there will be an event
Right.
in the summer, then people can just,
Is
and
that
then
like-
we can actually ask, is
is
there
the
anyone that
name
would like to help
trademark?
out? or something?
no.
I
there
think
was a
the art,
website.
I think the
Just like-
summer celebration.
All of that.
No, we don't
No,
wanna
we
call
don't
it
want
that. We don't want
No,
to call
it's
it
different. And I think the summer celebration to Estacada is what the Mountain Festival is the same.
It's been like, it hasn't happened for a minute, so.
2020 was when it
if
was
it
canceled for
just
the
got-
apocalypse.
it just got tweaked
So
and
So-
rebranded.
let me just give a couple of quick things. For the people who don't know about the summer celebration, like logistics, there was always a summer celebration committee that formed to organize and run the summer celebration. And that committee was a separate, non-governmental organization. Usually, there were arts commissioners on it. The people that headed it up had previously been chairs of the art commission. There was a lot of entanglement with the arts commission. Because the arts commission is a government organization, a lot of the funding went through the arts commission. So the arts commission got, it was a fundraising event for the arts commission. The arts commission paid out to artists and things like that and got money in for the, again, did all of the funding, but was not the organizer. And so anybody is willing, anybody anybody who is willing can start that committee up again and say, I want to run the summer celebration and I'm not going to be on this commission, so it's not up to me. But I would assume that the Arts Commission would be super into being that conduit again. And potentially anyone who is interested in helping could 100% help. But it's not the Arts Commission's, it's not in the Arts Commission's scope. It's a huge project. It requires a lot of organizing. We have some of the things that community members have suggested to us via me is that we should pay somebody to organize it. And if we don't have the money to do that, we should write a grant to pay somebody. I disagreed, since even the mayor in this town is a volunteer position. I really can't see hiring somebody, maybe though, but again, anybody in the community could write a grant to hire a project coordinator to run the summer celebration. I didn't think that that was the best use of Arts Commission money. And one thing that we stressed a lot in the first year that we weren't doing summer celebration was that instead we were going to try to have events throughout the whole year that would appeal to as many members of the community as possible and be accessible to them, because again, the summer celebration happened over one weekend. By the time it was ending, it was like a day and a half of that weekend. And
People are very emotional about it, but I think we can get people excited about all the other activities and events that are happening.
And I think and the issue is there was a website called Summer Celebration. There was a whole newspaper put out called
Right.
Summer Celebration. And the risk of calling whatever you do Summer Celebration, that's gonna be like, I'm opening up my own burger shop.
Let's just
but I'm
call
selling
it Celebrate Summer.
Well,
Just
we had,
spin it.
that's what we did. We did that the first year. Estacada Celebrates Summer was what we were calling the chalk walk. And then, so during COVID, we did the chalk walk, which people were nuts about, loved, which is why the chalk walk is now always on the summer plan. Still did the,
Scavenger hunt?
no, the
Arts crawl thing.
the thing in
art
the
and
middle of the
music crawl.
street.
No,
The
that's-
labyrinth painting, yes. Which there was a lot of energy about and seemed like a great use of resources because of the amount of energy. Did the labyrinth, did the chalk walk, everyone could have chalk, and then we also paid some artists to do some professional chalk, right? And we were like, Estacada Celebrate Summer.
There's so many exciting things happening.
Yeah, but it isn't summer celebration. And I do think that arts in the Art and Music Fest is a great opportunity for people to hear art and hear music and see art and have snacks, which is a lot of what they did at Summer Celebration, just on a smaller scale one day. And if we can pull it off this year and it's, then maybe people will start talking about the Art and Music Fest and how great that is and not so much.
And they really liked the art and music crawl last year too.
Yep,
So
great.
a
Yeah, there were a
great
lot of people
stepping stone
enjoyed
to
it
the
and-
next.
Right. And that's what I was saying a lot of at the What's Up Estacada. I kept saying it'll be like the art and music crawl, but less crawling, because we'll be in one spot. So that's an improvement.
It will be the art and music standstill.
And sway. Yeah, I think that, there are a number of reasons why people miss that event in part because that was one way for artists to make some money. There were always, there were a regular host of performers and a regular roster of artists. And, I mean, even food trucks that came every year, right? And so there's just this, we want that thing back.
But I also think that it's a hunger for community events.
I agree.
I really think that's more what it is
I
that there's
agree.
just been this big gap and people miss coming together as a community. So we just need to give everybody a new excuse to come together
Yes.
as a community. And even
Yes.
like you said, that crawl, people loved that. It
Right.
was really great. I think people just need an excuse to feel the community.
Right.
And that is, turns out, not 100% on us, I don't think.
No,
And
But-
additionally, there's still gonna be those diehards who
Yeah.
want the nostalgia.
right. The
of
streets
what
weren't
we
shut
used to
down,
have.
right. If the streets aren't shut down and the white tents aren't out and I don't see the food trucks that I always saw, it's not gonna be the same thing. But I feel like Wade Creek is going to be more accessible in a lot of ways. And not just to the community, but also to us in terms of not having to block off streets and all of that. I just think that overall it's gonna be a better place to have an event. And who knows, if it goes really great this year, maybe eventually it becomes a 2-day thing, right? And eventually it becomes something that looks even more like the thing people used to see. But really, Emily said that she just did music. She just did music. And it was the
So much
thing that took her all year. And so I did not want to put that on anyone's shoulders who didn't 100% want that. And, because that's a lot. So if that person, and there, it could be that somebody on the commission ends up being that person, right? Who says, I totally want to do that and wants to start the committee. There's nothing saying that a commissioner cannot say, I'm going to be the one to start the committee and make this happen. It wasn't going to be me. And Emily was like, it is not going to be me because 2020 was going to be she had the most amazing lineup scheduled for 2020. It was going to be her last year, swan song, awesome. And then COVID. And so she was like, I'm not going to just wait year after year, because the other thing is that committee started the fall before. Like September, because of all the planning and logistics required. And so that's the other thing, is it's a major commitment, and somebody needs to be very passionate about it. I think.
Or we just create something as.
I think creating new
You know.
things.
I
and
think
they
that's-
gain momentum, and every
Right.
year
Yeah.
it'll inch into
Approach.
everyone's heart a little bit
Yep.
more.
I think that I
It'll
think
gain
that is
momentum.
great. And I personally never went to the summer celebration because I live one door down from the city limits. So I never got the water bill. So I never knew when the thing was happening.
That's annoying.
I got the water bill, but I never read it. I would know it was happening when I heard the music up the hill.
Well, I would drive through town and go like, why is this street shut down? That's like art, huh? I wonder if that would have been fun because it's 4:00 in the afternoon and people are folding stuff up. Like, anybody can do the summer celebration, but I think there are better options. So, any arts opportunities?
The Ardenwald Elementary tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I'm just being silly. It's a big, huge event, but only for small children.
Next week is AWP in Seattle. That's where I'll be, which is the Association of Writers and Writing Programs. 2019, it was here in Portland. 14,000 writers and publishers descended upon the city. Like sleepaway camp for writers. So that's what I'll be doing. I don't know of any other opportunities. It's very expensive, but anyone who wants to can show up at it. Next meeting is April 5th. Enjoy it. Anything else? Should we call it?
We'll send you a group photo. Yeah.
We do have one more thing to do.
Oh, that's right, we do. Because it's not on the agenda, I forgot.
I know. Dave, we could ask you some questions. I don't know if anybody has questions for Dave.
Dave, you want to be on the commission? That's our question. Great.
Well, let me just say, that's not reliable at this point. We've had people fill out the form and then change their minds, so it's worth
After
double
they
checking.
voted in.
Right. Did we scare you off? Oh, great.
Okay. So
Great.
So I will ask the question that does come up is, do you realize that this is a participatory committee where we do events and we don't just sit in this room and talk about stuff? We actually go out and do things and organize. Apparently we are.
We just want to make sure that's not a surprise.
From you.
This one's super.
This one, you.
Group photo.
So far, you know, good.
Awesome.
I don't have very few of the time. I don't bring much to the student outside.
Experience and skills, outside of experience and skills. We can tell you who the people are to call. That's great.
And I'm terrible.
Well, aren't we all? We just
Yes.
make stuff up on the fly and have to follow through with our thoughts that we find. David, I was going to ask you, since you were the English professor and the chair of the Fine Arts and I'm sorry, my tongue stopped working, Humanities. Do you think maybe it's possible or something that was within your scope to maybe do like a little writers workshop for one of our events or something like that?
Happy to do both.
Which is very good. So it's fine. If you are, for whatever reason, not selected as a commissioner at this time, although I will say the odds are good, are you interested in volunteering for events, planning, or management as a community partner?
I thought I was volunteering. I missed that meeting, so I didn't send it remote.
Probably Michelle, our director. Mhm.
Can't make it. To the meeting. Whatever's useful. My idea is to try to be helpful to the community.
Wonderful. Any other questions for David?
Okay. So Dave, we need to ask you to leave so we can do our vote and you will hear from us shortly.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think I have to abstain since I am not.
Aren't you still,
I mean, I am, but it's,
you can't vote for your replacement?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I can.
We don't care.
Tainted.
Because-
I love the idea of having somebody who's another writer replacing somebody who's focused on a lot of writing.
Okay, I've been waiting all evening to say this, but Dave's not here. We can vote now.
It's me, I'm Dave.
Um,
All
We're
in
so
favor?
old.
Aye.
Okay, excellent. Do you want to write up the recommendation or do you want me to?
Can you send me the ones you did before? And then I'll.
Yep.
She just
Yeah.
wants to plug in the name.
Pretty
Yep.
much, yeah.
I mean, the only other thing is because Jerry couldn't make it, I told him we would forward him directly any of the notes that we had. So whatever recommendation you end up writing to send to him as well, since he will advocate on our behalf at the next city council meeting. If needed. Usually not needed, but.
Do you have a question, Mike?
can we adjourn? I have teenagers to pick up.
Yeah, all right, 7:50, can we call it? Anything else? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
I